I'm talking about the Korean War, especially like how America was involved in it. My name is Jordan. Okay, so the Korean War kind of started out with Japan's surrender after World War II, and the bombings that America did in Japan. Japan ended up surrendering to the Allies. On September 2nd, 1945. But Korea actually officially views their day of independence, or their Liberation Day as they refer to it, as August 15th. And Japan kind of surrendered kind of because they had no other choice. They were either going to surrender or the Allies were going to invade and take their land, so they opted to surrender. And so with that surrender, Japan signed over Korea and allowed Korea's freedom. So the UN had put two governments into Korea's peninsula. They put the Soviets. The Soviets kind of took the north, and the Americans took the south. But it was never intended to be, the 30th parallel was never intended to be like the official line. Like we're gonna split the two countries up. That was never like the UN's initial goal. But they wanted to set up that provisional. They wanted to set up the provisional government and help the UN, or help Korea have become free and become like a democracy type country. But obviously the Soviet Union at that time wasn't really much for democracy, and so they wouldn't agree with anything that the UN was going for. So it kind of led to the Soviets taking the northern half and setting out their leader, and the U.S. ended up having a vote for the South Korean leader. And so before the Korean War, as far as Asian politics, the U.S. was pretty heavily involved with China and Taiwan, in that China was kind of taking over Taiwan, and the U.S. was supporting the Taiwanese government so that they could kind of stay from China. And because of that, that is the reason Taiwan is still separate from China, for that initial support. And then communism was spreading throughout Asia, and the Soviets, as part of World War II, the Soviets kind of went into Manchuria, and it was supposed to help kind of like push Japan to, during World War, to kind of help them step down. But after World War II, the Soviets didn't really pull out much of Manchuria. There's still kind of tension there. And so then on the dawn of June 25th, 1950, North Korea invaded. And the invasion was completely surprise attack.